Last night it was a quality win from the green and gold. It was just what Bob Melvin and the boys needed. After taking a lead in the 6th inning, the bullpen bore down and shut out the Astros the rest of the way. And in the end, it was a 2-1 final, giving the A's a victory against one of the hottest teams in baseball. Tonight, it's Sonny Gray's turn, and Gray has been unhittable as of late, striking out 28 in his past 3 outings. It's Game 2, A's Astros next. We are in downtown Houston at Minute Maid Park as the series continues. It's Game 2 tonight. Sonny Gray looking for his 5th win of the year, and the A's trying to build on their 2-1 win in last night's game. Game 2 of the 3-game set. It's the Oakland A's and the Houston Astros coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Sonny Gray making his 9th start this year. He's having an all-star season, Ray. Best ERA in the American League. And when he pitches, you really feel like the A's are going to win the game.
It's pretty good.
He's pretty good.
I think he's very good. A great guy to pitch tonight because he's facing a team. It's in the Western Division of the American League. Look at the numbers against the West. He's been outstanding. And, of course, the Astros right there where he wants to try to beat them. And also from the standpoint of strikeouts. You mentioned the strikeouts. The Astros will strike out a few times. And with Sonny Gray pitching at his best with a great slider and a great curveball, the fastball, he's got all the pitches. Should be a good night for him.
And the bullpen was good last night, and that's a terrific sight for Bob Melvin. And you're still waiting on Doolittle, but at least last night, you got the 7th, you got the 8th, the 9th. The guys that were called upon came through big time.
You never want to see a starter have to leave early, but last night, because of a shoulder injury, Pomeranz did. But Mujica came in, did a great job to start it. Scribner came in, followed him, did a tremendous job with the fastball. Watch this play, though, by Sam Fold in center field. Scribner thought it was a home run. We all did. What a great play by Super Sam in center field. Scribner said, thank you very much. And then Tyler Clippard able to come in and throw the changeup and the fastball and retire the Astros in order 1-2-3 to pick up the save. A great win for the Athletics tonight. Last night, they'll try to build on it tonight again.
That's right. A's are looking for their 2nd consecutive win. Small steps, right?
Absolutely.
Baby steps. A's try to get themselves close to the 500 mark. To see if they can do that tonight with Sonny Gray on the Hill. Up next, we'll check back into the guys in the A's pregame live studios for a sports update, and then back here to Houston for lineups and first pitch. It's the A's and the Astros.
is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. By Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places. And by DraftKings.com. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code SLIDER for free entry.
Welcome back to Minute Maid Park. George Springer making some fans happy before he takes the field as the Athletics trying to make it 2 in a row over these Houston Astros. Good ball game last night. A's winning 2-1. Tonight here in Houston, the roof is closed once again. Our game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily starting Friday, May 22nd. 84 degrees and nice and humid today. No rain, but starting to get warm this part of the country, so the roof is closed. And we're just about set for baseball. Let's look at the lineup for the Oakland A's wearing the green tops tonight. Coco Crisp will lead off. He'll be in left field. Simeon at short. And then it's Reddick, Butler, and Vogt in the middle. Muncy, Laurie, Folt, and Sogard. That's your A's lineup for tonight.
And Roberto Hernandez is the pitcher starting tonight for the Astros. And A's last faced him was with the Tampa Bay Rays a couple of years ago. Of course, we know him with the Cleveland Indians, where he was an all-star, pitched great. And with that record of 1-3, making his 8th start, he's in the rotation for A.J. Hinch. And A's would like to extend their winning streak, make it 2, because last night was a great game.
So Hernandez has finished up his warm-up tosses. He's ready to go, and so are we, from Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston. A's come in with a 14-26 record, so game number 41 on the season. They are 9-12 on the road, and they're 3-4 against the Astros this year. So Roberto Hernandez, the veteran right-hander, is ready, and his first pitch is a sinker low.
You'll be saying that a few times tonight, because that is his pitch. He's a ground ball pitcher when the sinker is working, and if that first pitch is any indication, we'll see if it remains a ball.
Umpires tonight: Andy Fletcher calling balls and strikes. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, is at first. Paul Emmel at second, and Jordan Baker is down at third. So 2-0 to Coco Crisp. Swing and a miss. Hernandez was signed to a minor league contract and invited to spring training in February of this year, and he pitched very well. And he won a job in the rotation for the Astros. There's the sinker 40% of the time. So that is why he is and always has been a pretty good ground ball pitcher. He's from the Dominican Republic, 34 years old. There was a time, Ray, where he was one of the best young pitchers in the American League, but it really only lasted a couple years.
And we were in Cleveland when he was named to the All-Star team, and he blew up on that Sunday. Did not pitch that well against the Athletics, but was named the All-Star. They made a big deal out of it. And they had some great years with Cleveland, signed him to a very, very long-term, very lucrative contract. But he would throw the sinker, continues to throw the sinker, and I'm sure it will be used tonight a lot.
And it's a leadoff walk for Coco Crisp. Quick look at the defense for the Astros. Tucker, Rasmus, and Springer left, center, and right. Valbuena's back in there. He's at third. Then VR, Altuve, and Carter, with Castro doing the catching. So Rasmus and Valbuena, who were not in the starting lineup last night, are in there tonight. First pitch to Simeon is a strike on the inside corner. Simeon hitting .314 with 6 home runs and 15 RBIs. Simeon had a double last night, also had a walk. Coco goes, throw to second base, not in time. Stolen base for Coco Crisp.
Coco might not have the average. He's not hit a home run or driven in a run, but great jump against Hernandez, who had the high leg kick. And that in itself right there, it's got the breaking ball. Good quick release by Castro. But watching Coco run, if Billy Burns just watches him, his head was down. He was looking to second base. And if you're stealing, you don't look back. If you hear contact, less than 2 outs, you find the baseball. But you do not want to turn around and see what is happening with the ball. You just run and slow down. And oh, that's how close the play was at second. Fortunately, he was able to beat it.
Billy Burns getting the night off.
Be very attentive watching a good base stealer and Coco crisp.
So Coco in scoring position. Reddick to follow. That sinker, good pitch there, 2-2.
Last night the Astros got on the board without a hit in the first inning because of a hit batter, stolen base, got him over, got him in, and A's are trying to do the same thing tonight with Marcus Semien hitting, who continues to swing the bat well.
VR, the shortstop, actually playing right behind Coco, the runner. And 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss.
2013 with the Tampa Bay Rays against the Athletics, and is Roberto Hernandez, the veteran Jose Molina catching him. Used both sides of the plate. A lot of four-seam fastballs there. Good sinker there, but he was very, very sharp. Pitching indoors. He likes pitching indoors, as he is tonight here.
Career numbers versus the Athletics: 5-7, 4.84 ERA.
You see that 33 walks, which is not good for a ball club that typically is very patient, makes it pitcher throw strikes. Should I put that down as a block or one that just put an asterisk beside it? Said that was a pretty tough one to block. Castro did a good job.
I think it was a block.
Yeah. I mean, that was a savior really, because he could have been at third, but ball came up to Castro. Made a nice play, and the ball bounces this far out. He came up and backhand. That's kind of a half block because it's, thank you, it hit my glove. Sometimes you just throw your body in front of a ball, especially one that bounces that far out in front of the plate.
So 1-0 to Reddick. Reddick hitting .317, 6 home runs, 28 RBIs. He was hitless last night, 0 for 4. He takes a strike on the outside corner. A's last night had 6 hits total in the game, 3 doubles. They were 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The pitching carried him last night, especially the bullpen. So now they count 1-2.
Throw the changeup, which he just did, and watch this ball sink, and at 82 miles per hour, good off-speed pitch. So you have to worry about the hard two-seam fastball, the sinker, which he'll throw a lot, but then pull the string of the changeup through a slider to Semien. So those are 3 pitches: 2- and 4-seam fastball, slider, changeup.
Tries to throw the changeup again, but misses badly.
If you have the equalizer, which is a sinking fastball, that's a pitch that probably see him throw most of the time, especially now in this count of 2-2.
Pitch foul to the screen. So Hernandez trying to keep it away from Reddick.
Jeff, how would you like to be looking at the backdrop signing and see a guy named Jesse James back there?
Where?
No, the backdrop, the center field camera was showing behind home plate. I guess it's a movie they're talking about. I see Jesse James. You don't want to deal with him, man.
No, that's true.
I mean, you're in Texas. There you go. There's the man.
I would not mess with that guy. And another changeup, and Reddick chased it. So back-to-back strikeouts, and now there are 2 out.
Well, that's a very good pitch, and especially it goes down hard, and at 82 miles per hour that he throws it. It's it's slower than his sinker, but still a pitch that's very effective, as he showed. I hope that bat is still working.
I hope the helmet works for Reddick.
Helmet, bat.
Moose may be scrambling to find a new helmet. Here's Butler. A slider in there for a strike to Butler.
But he must know the A's know he throws 54% sinkers because he's thrown everything but the sinker. Maybe it's not working as well as he wanted.
Billy Butler, a couple of hits last night, including a double. Coco runs, and the ball's rolled foul toward the A's dugout, so Coco will head back to second base. Guess if you're going to go, and Coco, very good base stealer, he probably had a very, very good chance to make it. He had to know that, you know what, I got a great jump, and I can make this.
Billy Butler had a pretty good pitch to hit, and that's why he swung, did foul it. You know, sometimes you see a third baseman not cover because he vacates the third base position on a sinker ball pitcher. The hitter could swing and find the vacated hole at third. It turned out to be a run batted in. There are some third basemen who will not break. And when Tony La Russa was managing, he would have a guy steal third simply to try to get the third baseman to cover the bag, wanting the hitter to hit the ball and try to find the hole on the left side. Of course, now they're playing Butler to pull, which is surprising.
There's I mean, Chris Carter's the lone man on the right side of the infield, and that does surprise me a little bit. If nothing else, the last pitch was a fastball outside. Now it was off the plate, and I mean, maybe that was part of the plan. Throw it off the plate.
But we have seen Butler wait so long with all pitches that even swinging late, he could shoot one to right field.
And 2 pitches rolled foul.
Maybe they're going to feature steady diet of changeups, and you can't say back all the time. Bunched in the outfield, playing in the shift on the left side of the infield. Over.
1-2 pitch, fouled again. This one right at home plate.
Notice Jason Castro, the catcher, as he's getting ready to give the sign, and maybe he'll do it again, but he looks up to see if Billy Butler is peeking, looking back to see what sign he might be giving. But the one thing that with the scouting reports, a lot of times catchers will not look at the feet of the hitter. He's looking down, but sometimes they'll look up. He realizes Billy Butler is concentrated on trying to hit the ball with 2 strikes, but he did look up right before that previous pitch.
Yeah, and he got into the changeup. So after walking crisp, he strikes out Semien, Reddick, and Butler. So the A's do not score. lineup looks like tonight. Jose Altuve at second, Luis Valbuena at third, and George Springer in right. Evan Gattis will be 8. Preston Tucker in there again tonight. He's in left. Colby Rasmus in the lineup. He pinch hit last night, was not in the starting lineup. He's in center field. And Carter Castro in VR.
And we saw what Roberto Hernandez did top of the order against the A's. Sonny Gray very capable of doing the same with the strikeouts. Sonny facing the Astros for the first time here in Houston. 3 starts have all come at the Coliseum. But indoors here with a little humidity. And Sonny Gray looking for win number 5 in first last start. He did pick up the loss as the A's were shut out 2-0 against the Red Sox. Game that Miley started. But Sonny trying to get back to where he was prior to the last and get him some run support. Take it from there.
First pitch is a fastball, a little outside to Jose Altuve. 316 the average, with 5 home runs and 24 RBIs. He was 0 for 3 last night. And he did score a run. Remember, he was hit by a pitch. Stole a base and scored a run in the very first inning. A pitch is hit high in the air, foul, right field line.
That says a lot right there about Sonny Gray and his ability to throw a fastball when a hitter's looking fastball, yet with a very good fastball hitter, now Altuve could not pull it. Hit it foul down the right side. A little late on the swing.
This one jams Altuve and he loops a foul. One bounce up into the seats. So 2-2 the count. Altuve is 0 for his last 11. You don't say that very often about Jose Altuve.
Well, and with that, the streak against the A's ended last night.
Right.
Pointed out. So I'd like to continue to keep him in that same capacity.
Reaches forward, little pop up right side. Sogard is under it. So Altuve is out. 1 away here in the first inning. A's defense tonight. In the outfield, it's Crisp, Fold, and Reddick. So very good defensive outfield. Infield, Laurie, Simeon, Sogard, and Muncy with Stephen Vogt doing the catching. Sam Fold, the talking baseball after his catch. That wasn't one of those catches where, just you and I thought it was great. I mean, it's one of those that you see all over the highlights all day. And everybody was raving about it. Terrific play. It's going to get through past the pitcher, past the shortstop, and into center field. So Luis Valbuena with a 1-out single. So we want to see that play again. It's our T-Mobile game changer. Check it out. First of all, you got a ball headed to the wall, and then you got the hill. And listen, he's 420 feet away from home plate. And he snow-coned it. And that was in the 8th inning of a 2-1 game.
And you know what would make that play even better is that as baseball continues in Houston, you won't see that because they're going to take it out. Tal's Hill's going to be eliminated, I think, after this year.
Yeah, we may still be playing if that was.
That's right. But the great thing about that, and Evan Scribner said it last night, and Sam Fold said, and this is what outfielders should do. You get into a park that has all the quirks that this one does with the scoreboard, the Crawford boxes, that Tal's Hill. You have to go out and take fly balls. You have to prepare yourself for a game. And Sam Fold did prepare last night. He said very rare do you see balls in batting practice hit 430 feet away to straight to center field. But I noticed tonight Ty Waller was in the outfield hitting him fly balls, going up on Tal's Hill. And you have to work on it. And it paid off last night with him making a tremendous play.
So it may seem like a lot of work for a play that you may never get a chance to make, but the point is he did have a chance, and if he doesn't catch that, Springer's probably at third.
It's not an inside the park home run, just because nobody could back him up. And you're right, at least third. But that's what made it such a great catch and a 1-run game.
So he saved the game.
Yeah.
2-2 to Springer with Gattis waiting to hit next. Springer 6 home runs, 15 RBI. He walked 3 times last night. Was 0 for 1. Checks his swing.
Trying to get him to swing at a slider. Those are hard sliders that Sonny Gray has come up with. As Evan Gattis waits, but very good patience. And Springer, who has had trouble with a high fastball, but that time laying off. I think that's a throw over with that sign. There it is. Hook 'em. Hook 'em.
Hook 'em. We're in Texas.
Yeah, that's right. Hook 'em Hornets. Signs coming from the dugout. Simply to throw over, pitch out, step off, do a lot of things. Not actual pitch calling. That is a slider. Let's see if Springer. And that's thrown to first on his own.
And Valbuena does not have a very big lead, but that play ended up being fairly close.
Bob Melvin will also give a slide step, which would indicate he wants the pitcher to try to get rid of the ball quickly.
And Springer ends up walking. So the 4th time Springer has walked in the last 2 games.
Well, as Hernandez is staying with a changeup, Sonny Gray started with a slider, but look at where this pitch starts. He didn't give him a chance to swing at the pitch. Starts it in the middle of the plate, breaking away. At least he sees it as one that he needs to protect. But when it started outside, evidently Springer was able to recognize the spin on the slider and did not swing.
So 2 on 1 out for Gattis. Gattis hitting 183 with 7 home runs and 21 RBIs. Fastball called strike. Gattis can't believe it. Chatting it over with Andy Fletcher. Gattis had a sacrifice fly last night. Knocked in the Astros' only run. Astros last night, Gray, had just 2 hits, and they were both infield hits. And they did receive 6 walks, but the A's were able to avoid damage with those walks. So it was a very quiet night for Astros offense.
Well, they had a bases loaded, 1 out. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Double play, pop up. A's were able to get out of it. Drew Pomeranz early.
All right, check it out. A little comparison last year to this year. Fastball, a little bit more this year, but the slider is the big difference, Ray. And I know you and I have talked about that. 8% usage last year. This year, 17%. So more sliders, fewer curveballs.
And it's not your normal slider that goes to the side. It's more of a straight downward.
Up the middle. Simeon grabs it, steps on second, throws high to first. Muncy leaps up to catch it, but Gattis is safe. So fielder's choice. Runners will be at 1st and 3rd with 2 outs.
Well, Simeon tried to take the broken back. Sogard was there. Simeon, and that's Springer. That's all Springer getting down on Simeon very quickly as he awkwardly caught it. There's Springer, had to jump to avoid him, and as a result threw under and did not complete the double play. So 1st and 2nd, the runner first not being held allowed Springer to get there quickly and just enough to disrupt Simeon in his throw to first.
So now Preston Tucker hits. Tucker takes a breaking pitch low.
Tell you what, I give Astros a lot of credit. They're very aggressive normally, and they're taking some very good hard sliders that hitters a lot of time will commit and at least have a check swing, but they're not even starting the swings.
Towards Sogard. He'll shovel to second. Side retired. So a couple of runners stranded for the Astros. We're on to the 2nd inning. No score. Is brought to you by Roaring Camp Railroads. Whether it's a steam train through the Redwoods or a beach train to Santa Cruz, Roaring Camp is the ride of a lifetime. That train goes right through downtown Houston, right on Main Street.
And the train we want to keep quiet is up above left field.
That's right. That's the train that goes into action if the Astros hit a home run. VR ranging far to his left, and he makes a nice play and throws out Stephen Vogt. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the second. VR playing to the right side of second base. So 1 out for Max Muncy. Muncy had a double last night. He also walked and scored a run. Mark Hanna was not even at the ballpark last night. He was sick. But he is here today, feeling a little bit better.
I think the entire bullpen is sick. Stephen Vogt is sick. Hanna is still sick. He's just here. But last night he couldn't do anything. But Stephen Vogt said, you know, I feel like if I run, it's just going to be bad. Bullpen, Otero, Scribner, several down in the bullpen. I think Clipper might have been the most healthy of the group last night. They all pitched well, though. They come out and perform. Pomeranz, shoulder issue, stiffness in his left shoulder. Hope he's okay.
I guess he threw today. Felt okay, a little sore, but
Hahn has been sick. He pitches tomorrow, feeling better. But that's last night from Pomeranz. You're right. He did throw today. And wanted to make sure that he was at least able to throw after having to leave in the 5th inning last night.
So Muncy takes 4-pitch walk. So 2 walks for Roberto Hernandez.
The home of Max Muncy is 4 hours away, yet he has about 25 here tonight. Some college buddies and some friends have driven over to see this 3-game series.
Right, went to Baylor, which is in Waco. Don't want to be in Waco right now.
No, you don't want to do any shopping anyway.
That's beside the point. So the first pitch is in for a strike to Laurie. Laurie 1 for 4. He had an RBI last night. RBI single. Shoots this one right center field, and that's going to get down, and it's going to one-hop the wall. Here comes Muncy, and they're waving him home. Here's the throw to the plate, and it is in time, and they got Muncy at the plate.
And Bob Melvin, as Muncy crossed the plate, thought he was safe, and they're going to check with Adam Roden just to find out. But you talk about a strong man. This ball down and away from Brett Laurie, and he crushed it. And again, as was the case with the White Sox, ball came right back to Rasmus, a relay, and all the way to the plate. And Muncy thought he got it. They're not going to review it, and it's going to stand because a perfect relay to Castro, short hop, and got him before he got his hand on the plate. Wow.
Watch the left hand of Muncy.
Well, right there is where he got him before the hand went down. So the tag and then the glove.
So it goes 8-6-2 on the putout.
Well, it took 2 perfect throws, and unfortunately for the A's, the 2 perfect throws were there for the Astros.
So close play, but Muncy tagged out. There's a strike to Sanford. 1-1 the count. Nice play by the catcher Castro.
Yeah, it was a short hop. You're right.
Yeah. Sanford was 0 for 3 last night. He did walk. Sam's going to go for a little walk. Chase the pitch down. Really struggling. 2 for 44 is Sanford, so it'd be nice to get him and Coco going. 2 pitch, roll foul.
That's why it was impressive about Brett Lawrie to take the low sinker. Maybe it didn't sink that much, but the fact it was low and Lawrie was able to hit it as hard as he did to right center. Slicing away from the center fielder, which I think even Rasmus, with his speed, couldn't get to it. He covered a lot of ground in Toronto when he played there, but the ball was hit so hard by Brett Lawrie, couldn't get to it.
Lawrie with his lead at second, not being held, and that one's grounded. Carter on the backhand. Shovels to Hernandez, safe. And now the runner's coming home, and the tag, and he is out. And Lawrie said he was safe. So everybody's going to stay here. Well, it looked like Lawrie may have got in, just, you know, from where we're sitting.
Well, there's the play. Hernandez immediately turning around, safe at first, was full, and the play, oh, I think his foot got it. I think you're right, Kai. It was not a hand slide. It was a foot. Did he get it?
Very close.
Very close.
It's that right foot of Lawrie. So they may take a look at it. It's very, very close. And again, this is, and we've learned this now, Ray. What becomes paramount is what was the original call.
Right, that's true.
Because that play right there is about as close as you're going to get, and it probably could go either way.
And you see the umpire talk to Bob Melvin to find out, are you challenging the positioning of the catcher, or was he safe or out? And I think they have to make the call. And it's a feet first slide, Castro. And did he? Well,
see there, you see how close it. I mean, there's the foot right there, and there's the tag. And you know what, Ray? I don't think there's enough to change it.
There's not,
unfortunately.
No. And it's going to unfortunately stand.
I hope I'm wrong. But just looking at that replay, I mean, it's foot tag about the same time.
Wow. If it stands, what are the odds of 2 players being thrown out at the plate in the same inning? For 2 of the 3 outs.
And very close play.
Yeah.
And they're showing it up on the big board here, and boy, it is really close. Foot tag.
Well, it looks like the umpires are having a tough time with the headset. It looked like they were getting ready to take them off, and now they put them back on. Castro had the ball plenty of time. It's just a question of how quickly he applied the tag. And again, if under the old rules of a catcher, he could have put his foot on the plate, and it would have been a moot point because he would have pushed him off, would never have gotten to the plate. But the guidelines, and Melvin, I would assume Bob Melvin was saying safe or out, not bad positioning or incorrect position of the catcher. Right there, if his foot's on the bag or on the plate, has the tag been applied, and really from the umpire standpoint, that's how quickly the play evolves to where it's hard to make a decision.
It's really hard. Oh man. And you know, hey, Andy Fletcher's right there. I mean, he's in perfect spot. He's looking right at it. He's very close to the play.
But you talk about speeding up. I mean, we're going slow motion.
Yeah, we're going back and forth.
He's going boom, boom. You know,
we're going back and forth, and we're still not sure.
Because what they will determine.
And they're going to stick with the out call. So, disappointment for the A's. They get a walk, a double, and a single, and they don't score any runs. How does that happen? Bottom of the second coming up, no score. very close plays. The second one challenged, and he's lost the challenge. And that was ripped toward the gap, and it's going to get by Coco. It bounces off his glove, and Rasmus is going to end up at second base. So Rasmus, swinging at the first pitch, has a double.
Well, this is Brett Lawrie at second. Now the close play at the plate, and you determine right there. Then he takes off, and look how close the play is. And the old saying, if he's running hard from second to third, anticipating that play at first, we don't even have a review. He probably doesn't even have to slide. But, you know, he made the decision once he rounded third to take off, which was good when he saw the pitcher going down the line to cover the bag. And unfortunately, that little hesitation between second and third, even though he ran hard from third, that was the difference.
So 129 calls overturned this year. That's a lot. Not quite half of the total reviews.
And I think also when Muncy was thrown out at the plate, that's on Mike Gallego. He took the chance. He took two perfect throws, and they got him. But watching the replay of Brett Lawrie, he went on his own. I mean, there's not much a third base coach can do there. It's total reactionary. You have to see the play developing in front of you. And he saw Hernandez going down to cover first base, and that's when he took off. But Chris Carter credit and Jason Castro credit for making the play at the plate.
Bounced right into the A's dugout. Yeah, I think if you're thinking about doing that, and obviously you don't know what the outcome of the play at first is going to be, but you still, I think you got to go hard between second and third.
Exactly. You almost have to run as if you're assuming good things happening instead of assuming that he's going to make the play and it's going to be a moot point. You're just going to get to third. But it makes it hard on a third base coach, and that's why I've talked about Gary Pettis, very aggressive. He's there now. And Mike Gallego, you say run hard to me, let me make the decision. Now Muncy was his, but and Mike Gallego, I mean, he's always going to be aggressive. You cannot take that away from him.
2-2 to Carter. Carter, big chopper of a foul. Lawrie grabs it with the bare hand, flips it into the seats.
And then we come into this inning, and Coco gets caught in between, diving for a ball or playing it into a base hit to keep a runner first. And very quickly on the first pitch, Rasmus is standing a second.
Another 2-2 setting up inside to Carter, and it is inside just a little bit. 3-2. Jason Castro, left-handed hitters in the on-deck circle. Sonny with a quick look. Another foul ball down the left field line. Kind of foul ball central down there. Get a lot of action. Nice A's family. She's got a baseball now. Keep her protected down there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Could pretty much forget about this one, and that's a 2-run hit for Chris Carter. And quite frankly, Ray, I have no idea where it landed.
I don't either. All I know it sounded like a 2-run home run, and it was
a towering shot down the left field line.
You know, Chris Carter laid off the hard sliders until he got 1, 3, and 2 that was kind of a hanger. Look where this ball is, right in the middle of the plate. And that was just a swing, and Sonny Gray's head went down. That was a slider that did not have a sharp bite to it. Only the second home run that he has given up this year. It was a curveball he got Dustin Ackley that he hit out in Oakland, and this a hanging slider that, and it hit. Wow.
So home run number 7 for Carter.
See, that's the slider trying to get the hitters to swing at it, but they haven't until Jason Castro just swung at one.
So Bobby Dynamite doing his thing. For the starters, first home run allowed in the last 11 games. And for Sonny Gray, just the second home run he has allowed this year, and this is his 9th start. That's a base hit to right field for Jason Castro. So double homer single off Sonny Gray here in the bottom of the second. And all hard hit baseballs.
Fastball location away. It was inside, and Castro didn't know where the location of Stephen Vogt was set up, but he definitely turned on a fastball in, and it was a four-seam fastball that did nothing except it hit very hard.
So the 9th place hitter Jonathan Villar steps in. Laurie in on the grass. And Villar takes a fastball high. Sonny Gray has made, before tonight, 3 starts against the Astros, but all at home. So he has never pitched in this ballpark till tonight.
After that shot by Chris Carter, might want to do it again. Crawford boxes weren't necessary on that one.
I saw Sonny Gray this afternoon. He said, "Do you like pitching here?" He said, "I'll tell you at 10 o'clock."
That's right.
He said, "I've never pitched it."
I hope he pitches until 10.
2-0 to Villar with Altuve waiting in the on-deck circle. And now 3-0. Those are the first 3 starts for Gray in his career against the Astros, all at the Coliseum. Very good ERA. Twice in 2013, once last year with the starts. Castro short lead at first. Swing and a miss. Fastball with some sinking life to it.
Well, at least he's getting the ball down in the strike zone, and unlike the 2-0-1 that was elevated.
Swing and a miss. Came right back at him with pretty much the same pitch. So Villar strikes out.
For Sonny Gray, August the 15th against the Houston Astros. And he did a pretty good job at the Coliseum. He had it all working. Good curveball, and of course he's gone more to the slider now, but curveball was working, and for Sonny Gray last year, a very, very good season again. Finished the first half very strongly, and of course shut out the Rangers on the final day of the season. 10-game winner in the first half.
And Sonny Gray's become so good, and like an ace of any team, you really expect to win the starts that he pitches. There's a strike. 1-1 to Altuve, who popped out to Sogard, leading off the bottom of the first.
Well, the good thing about Sonny Gray, damage control, and talked about the game that he gave up. Came in with a 167 earned run average and gave up just 1 run. This earned run average tonight against the Astros had been a little bit over 2, but for the season still at 161. But He's usually very good and will keep his club within range of trying to come back and win. Right now, pitch number 40 coming up was a lot for him.
Ahead of Altuve, 1-2. And he got him to chase. Altuve, who does not strike out a lot. That's just the 16th time this year he has struck out. Sure, ERA leaders with Gray leading. Keuchel, who the A's will see tomorrow, is second. Sonny is also third in the league in innings pitched. He's sixth in the league in strikeouts and third in the league in opponents' batting average against. The league's hitting 186 against him. So he's all over the leaderboards. .219 innings pitched last year for Sonny Gray. And
see, now he's starting to hit the corners and getting the fastball down in an area that's not very hittable. And once he gets a couple of strikes, he can try to get hitter to chase, which Altuve did.
Valbuena had a base hit in the first inning. Two-run homer by Carter here in the second inning has given the Astros the lead. Valbuena hits a sky-high pop-up. It's up there somewhere. Sogard now finds it, and he hits it. Hang in there, Sogi. Wow. Sogard grabs the adventurous pop-up. Carter with a two-run homer. 2-0 Astros after 2.
On Athletics Jersey Day, Friday, May the 29th. To get ready, make it an all-new Majestic Cool base jersey. That's pretty cool. Now available at the A's Team Store and athletics.com. It's pretty neat.
Got the shades on just in case they're needed. Tough pop-up or something.
Looks like you ought to get some sleep. He's too young to be yawning and rubbing his face like that.
Sogard, Crisp, and Simeon. A's down 2-0. There's a shot towards center. Rasmus in and over to his right, and he makes a nice running catch.
Kind of
shallow.
Just learned something between innings. On their big video board here, they show the top 5 plays from yesterday. So
okay.
Alexi Ramirez and heard the Hawk make the call, and Alexi went up and caught one. There's the big. They did not show Sam Foltz play last night, and you can't tell me that's number one. It was one all over baseball. but not here.
That's just not right.
That's because it was George Springer who hit it. And if Springer had caught it, it would have been. But I thought it was interesting that it was not on the board.
Well, you know what? You know the executive advisor to the Houston Astros, Nolan Ryan. You were just talking to him about it 45 minutes ago. Why don't you get him in here and say, Nolan, come on. I understand.
He'd knock me down.
Oh, that's true. He come up and in, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would stay away from it. There's the Ryan Express.
His son Reed is the president of the Astros.
Sitting that suite with Enos Cabell. So a lot of the Astros still part of the organization. Nolan was talking to Enos Cabell, and there's Enos next to him. He said, yeah, I owned you. And he said, yeah, you hit 350 in spring training. How about regular season?
Simeon has a hit. 2-out single to left field.
Second time through the batting order seemed a little bit different for Marcus Semien. It was as he got a changeup from Hernandez that he left up. Gee, this outfield plays very shallow, as we saw the first two batters with Sogard and Crisp. Of course, they don't hit a lot of home runs, so the outfield is smartly playing shallow, as Rasmus did, robbing Sogard. Looked like a base hit.
So I got a good tidbit for you, Ray. Marcus Simeon has the same amount of hits as Jose Altuve. 50.
Wow.
How about that? Very impressive. 50 hits already for Simeon. He's got 9 doubles. He's got 2 triples and 6 home runs. So Reddick will hit for the second time. He struck out swinging in the first. He swung at a couple changeups, and we'll see how he handles the changeup, and we'll see if Hernandez throws it to him again.
It's a good one right there that took. And you know, the key for the A's in this game really right now is Sonny Gray. And you look at a pitcher who, and the pitching staff in general, depending how far Sonny goes, but he knows that if he can keep the offense from scoring more runs, his offense will come back. He did it against the Angels in game with Jared Weaver, and he went head to head. He said, give me one more inning. I know the offense will get to the bullpen, and they did. I know Sonny would be right now.
Runner goes. The throw is late, and Simeon has another stolen base. He is 7 for 7 in stolen base attempts this year.
Well, as long as Roberto Hernandez is that high leg kick, Jason Castro is not going to have a chance to throw out anybody. You can hear everybody yelling, there he goes, because the left-handed hitter, but Roberto Hernandez is concentrating more on the hitter than he is any base stealer. And now if Reddick can come through, make it hurt a little bit, get a 2-out hit.
Blocked nicely by Castro. So top 10 in stolen bases is Marcus Simeon. So the A's have 2 tonight. These are 23 for 26 this year in stolen base attempts. Strike on the outside corner, 2-1.
Reddick must have been looking for something off speed, because he took a pretty good fastball and took it as if he was looking for something else.
Castro setting up outside, and the ball's lined down the right field line, and that'll drop fair. And the A's will be on the board as Simeon comes in to score, and Reddick with a head first slide in the second, and he's got an RBI double.
You see, if you steal second and you hit a double, you don't have to worry about getting thrown out to play.
It's true. You shouldn't anyway.
Exactly. And that high leg kick by Hernandez with a 2-out stolen base, and Josh Reddick, there he got the changeup. He took the fastball, and he even looked changeup on the 2-strike pitch and was able to hit it. And what a great swing by Josh Reddick, and very smart hitting, not only to drive in a run, but puts himself in a scoring position, and that quickly with 2 outs, the A's have pulled it within 1.
So Reddick gets his 29th RBI, so 2-out rally for the A's, and here's Butler. was a strike down and away, but Butler has it called a strike on him. Doesn't seem real happy about it.
That happens too, Ken. We've seen it where hitters will get back to the dugout and they don't just go in and sit. They'll start talking about sequence of pitches and maybe look at a pitch that a pitcher might be throwing consistently. And in the case of Reddick, I mean, you don't see many hitters who take a fastball 2-1 unless he's looking for something off speed, and then do the same thing and finally get the pitch and do what he did. That's pretty smart hitting. But conversations that good hitters have in the dugout, it's about what this pitcher is doing and maybe what to look for in certain situations.
Up the middle, but Altuve with the shift on playing right there, flips it to first. Side retired. So Reddick with an RBI double. We're going to the bottom of the third. A's are on the board. It's the Astros 2 and the Athletics 1. Join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. for an A's baseball breakfast against the Astros presented by Black Bear Diner. Every A's game will now be televised this season. It'll be Jesse Hahn and Dallas Keuchel in. It's tomorrow at 11 a.m. Final game of this series.
And you get to hear my partner do a play-by-play on radio.
It'll be
on radio, simulcast on Comcast Sportsnet California.
So Ray and I will slide over and join Vince Cotroneo. So we'll have some fun tomorrow.
That's right. And we won't just look over here and see you, Delaire, and Tommy, and Woody just sitting over here. You'll be in there working. That's right. That'd be good. I know you're going to enjoy it.
Springer, Gaddis, and Tucker. It's now a 2-1 game. Springer walked in the first. Chris Carter, a 2-run homer last inning. Springer has 25 walks now this year. That's the fourth most in the American League, so he strikes out a lot. And he's also drawn a lot of walks. Good in shutdown inning opportunities this year, Sonny Gray. 13 out of 15. And that one close, but called the ball.
That front door, it's like almost a cut fastball front door.
So Springer out. Now he steps back in. Payoff pitch. And that one's belted to right center and hit well. Reddick's back. Warning track, and he's got it. Springer gave it a pretty good ride, but stays in the ballpark. And here's Gaddis.
Kevin, looked like Sonny Gray decided it was a little bit too warm to have the sleeves on tonight, because it looked like something a little bit different. Here's Sonny Gray in the second inning. Pitching, gave up the home run to Chris Carter and said, you know what, I think it's too hot. And so he just went sleepless.
Yeah.
It is humid. I mean, even indoors with the air conditioner supposedly on, some people up here are freezing, but you know, it's warm down there.
The air conditioner definitely works in our broadcast. There's no question about that. It is working just fine.
You know, pitchers typically like to wear sleeves regardless of the climate, just because it kind of keeps the heat in. But sometimes it just gets too oppressive. They decide, let's just go with the sleeveless. And the arm is very special. You pitchers, and you probably didn't sleep on the right arm because you're always concerned about sleeping on it the wrong way. And guys, if they're on an airplane or an air conditioned someplace, they're always protecting it. And you see them in the dugout after the inning, they'll put a jacket on. It's a precious arm, whether it's right or left, depending how you pitch. But I'm sure Sonny Gray will put on some sort of a jacket when he gets back in the dugout. But for pitching, a little bit more comfortable this way.
Goes to the backhand, and it was a very tough play, so Gaddis is going to be aboard. It was just fair, and Laurie tried to backhand it and popped up over his glove.
It seems like when he leaves his feet like that, it's when he misses it. And it's almost as if he could keep his feet and backhand, but when he goes down, see, I don't think he had to go to the ground. If he just backhands it, I mean, it's a hard play regardless. But going down, watch how the ball comes up, hits him on the heel of the glove, and he's got to pop up quickly, and he's capable of doing it if he catches the ball. But sometimes you go to the slide, the concentration level, and you take a bad hop.
It almost looked like keep your feet, just reach for it on the back.
Exactly. And that's what Mike Gallego, you'll see some infielders will catch a ball backhand, especially on the left side, so they can plant themselves and throw instead of trying to circle around and take a little bit more time to get in front of the ball. But I don't know, it just seems like the last couple of weeks, every time Laurie has dived to his right, the ball has eluded his glove or not been able to come up with a cleaner.
1-1 to Preston Tucker. Tucker getting a chance to play for the Astros. I think he has a chance to be a decent big leaguer. Good numbers in the minor leagues. A lot of different left fielders for the Astros the last couple years. Bobby Grossman we've seen out there. He's been back and forth between the big leagues and the minor leagues a bunch of times.
That's a good point, because while the Astros before this year, of course, they've had a very good record start this season. First year manager A.J. Hinch, and just a good sinker down that Tucker, surprising, he's a pretty good eye, and Stephen Vogt gets it on his right foot. But when you get a chance to come to the big leagues, and you mentioned a couple of players that were here in the past couple of years are no longer here, and you get a chance, you better perform, because there are a whole bunch in the minor leagues that are going to be given the opportunities, and we're seeing some of them this year.
Good pitch and a strikeout. So that's strikeout number 3 for Sonny Gray.
Well, this is a hard slider. It was just tempting enough, looked like a strike, but ball downward. And there's a swing and a miss over the pitch. So Sonny Gray starting to get dialed in, and that's always a good sign. Just don't like to see that number 58 up there with the number of pitches that just the third inning. But you're looking at 20 an inning versus ideally 10 to 12. You want to go 9. So still think sometimes the pitch count is a negative, because pitchers maybe take a little bit longer to get in a groove, but then the pitch count gets you and you end up out of the game when you're maybe pitching your best.
Yeah, nothing easy for Sonny Gray so far. been in that stretch a lot. Gaddis the runner at first. And now it's 2-0. Rasmus doubled and scored in the second inning, doubled the left center field. He pinch hit last night late in the game and hit a fly ball to right field. 2-0 pitch is a fastball on the outside corner.
Rasmus has an interesting setup.
Sure does.
Kind of with a bat. I mean, he's got to do a lot with his bat to get in a hitting zone. But open stance, but look where he puts his bat. Waggle a little bit and then get set up, but in front of him, so he has to take it from there and then go back, get ready to go. And sometimes difficult to catch up to good fastball with that approach. It's there, and then he loads up with putting the bat back. Someone say, well, why not start back there already?
Sure.
So then all you have to do is lift the front foot. But his timing mechanism, he's had some good years with that approach, so tough to fault him.
3-1 pitch. Tapped slowly towards Sogard, who charges, flips to first, side retired. A hit and a runner left for the Astros, so we're going to the fourth inning. Astros 2 and the Athletics 1. Is brought to you by Kelly Moore Paints, the Painters Paint Store. Beautiful look at downtown Houston and some of the outlying areas. Rained some yesterday, not today though.
As long as it doesn't rain after the game, that's the most important.
That's right. You and I got to get home.
Don't want to walk in the rain.
No. It's just hot, humid, and windy today. 0-1 to Vogt. Vogt, Muncy, and Laurie for the A's here in the top of the fourth inning. All our teams in the AL West locked in games that are heading to the late innings. The Red Sox are leading the Rangers 4-2 in the bottom of the seventh inning at Fenway. It's the start of a 9-game road trip for the Rangers. They'll also go to New York and Cleveland, so 3-city 9-game trip starting tonight for Texas. So 4-2, Red Sox leading the Rangers in the bottom of the seventh. Vogt gets jammed, hits one toward Altuve, who scoops it, and that's out number one. So Vogt is grounded out twice to Altuve. Here's your AL West. Astros with a 5.5-game lead. they continue to have the best record in the American League. Angels second place. Mariners trying to get back to the 500 mark, and then the Rangers and the Athletics.
And all those teams above the A's except the Astros would love to see the A's sweep this series. The A's would move to within 9.5, get back under the 10 mark, and the other teams, if they have success, would also pick up ground on the #1 team in the division, the Astros.
Angels are leading the Blue Jays 3-2, bottom of the 8th inning, and that's in Toronto.
Run of the first inning, I think it's courtesy of a Josh Donaldson leadoff home run. He's leading off again as he did yesterday. Had a leadoff home run.
It's game 2 of that series. Remember, Toronto won yesterday 10-6. So we'll keep a close eye on that one. It's close to being finished. Skied toward left field. Tucker is under it, and Tucker grabs it. So 2 away here in the top of the 4th inning. Here's our Ford right choice. Nice job of hitting last night by Brett Lawrie. RBI single to right field. It was in the 6th inning, and it gave the A's the 2-1 lead, and that was the final score. Soon after that, the A's bullpen took over.
Really soon after that, the A's left the bases loaded with nobody out. Brett Lawrie fortunately got the hit with 2 strikes and drove in what would be the winning run, but yeah, it's amazing. The A's had opportunities. The Astros had opportunities. Neither one could cash in. Unfortunately, the A's bullpen did.
Oh, and 1 to Lawrie, who doubled in the 2nd inning. He was right in the middle of all the action. He doubled, but Muncy was thrown out trying to score from first on that double. And then Lawrie was later thrown out at home when he tried to score from second on an infield hit. So plenty of action in the 2nd inning for Brett Lawrie. Dark clouds outside. That's all glassed in out there in left field, all the way left center field. Which is a little bit like Seattle, except in Seattle the glass wouldn't be there. It's open.
I just wonder if it's real glass or non-breakable glass.
I'm guessing it's non-breakable.
I would hope so, because otherwise you have some holes, because there's some shots that could be hit out, as Butler's was when the A's came here the first time.
But the stadium concept of the roof closing is really exactly like Seattle. Moves from right field over top.
See, it was open the first time it came in, right? Because it's early enough in the season, and they
2 pitches fouled straight back.
3-2 changeup, stayed with it. Left it up though.
We'll see if Hernandez throws the same pitch again. Chop towards short. VR charges, throws quickly, not in time. So Lawrie, with that terrific speed, has an infield hit.
Well, that's getting down the line. That's motoring. Of course, running out of the batter's box because of the low pitch, and as soon as it hit it, it's almost like he was taking off out of the starting blocks, and VR made it play as well as he could have, but just the hustle. And he just keeps on running. Run through. Decelerate.
That's right. So hit number 5 for the A's. Here's Fold.
Just wish he'd run that hard when we showed him earlier.
Maybe a 2-2 game.
That's exactly right.
Sam Fold had the infield hit in the 2nd inning. He beat Hernandez to the bag, and a ground ball toward first. Orioles are leading the Mariners 8-4 in the 8th inning in Baltimore. Mariners led that game 4-1 early, but Baltimore has come storming back. Nelson Cruz has hit a home run, his 16th of the year for Seattle. He goes back to Camden Yards and hits a home run.
And the Orioles fans were not too happy that the Orioles did not make an attempt to re-sign him. Whereas the Mariners stepped in and paid him a lot of money. Not surprising that they wanted to get the right-handed bat that they got in Cruz.
Full chops it right at home plate, so the count now 0-2 to Sam.
Surprising that Brett Lawrie, unlike what Semien did last inning, 2-out base hit, stole second, scored on the double. Brett Lawrie has stayed at first in the first 2 pitches anyway.
The long look in by Hernandez. So he went to the outside. Outfield plays full to pull a little bit. Pitch number 67 coming up from Hernandez, and it's down and in. Good take by full, 2-2 the count.
So the 4 given by Castro, that would be a changeup for the right-hander, who is really falling in love with the changeup tonight.
Lawrie inches off. He's not running, and the pitch is low. 3-2. He will go now.
Sam Fuller's taken some pretty close pitches. Very impressive with his ability to lay off pitchers' pitches. Find a gap. It's a tie game.
So Carter plays behind Lawrie. There your runner goes, and the ball's bounced to short. VR charges, fires across in time. Side retired. Lawrie is stranded after his base hit. Bottom of the 4th coming up. It'll be Carter, Castro, and VR. 2-1 Astros. It has to do with that man, Nolan Ryan. He spent 9 seasons with the Astros, 1980 to 1988. He won 106 games in those 9 years. Very good ERA. He was an all-star a couple times with the Astros. He threw a no-hitter in 1981 with the Astros. How about the 87 season? 8-16, but look at the ERA. And he had a few seasons like that with the Angels as well, where his record was not great, but ERA was good, and obviously lots of strikeouts.
34 retired here. You get the 30 in Anaheim. The Rangers have retired him as well.
So Chris Carter leading things off. Carter with a 2-run homer in the second inning.
I like the one of, I mean, this is a young, remember he started with the Mets and down in Ashby. Remember he had 7 no-hitters, all caught by 7 different catchers. But he was outstanding. From Alvin, Texas. So you can imagine being a young man who, a Texan, played for both the Rangers and the Astros.
Muncy grabs the pop-up from Carter. And Nolan Ryan. You see him walking down the hall, you just sort of slide out of the way and let him walk by. So Billy Burns comes in the game. He's in center field. Sam Fuld goes to left. Neck tightness for Coco Crisp. That's what we've been told. Neck tightness. So Coco is out of the game. One out here in the 4th. Ben Zobrist was supposed to play tonight. 5 innings in his first rehab assignment. He was going to play second base. So let's hope all goes well for Ben Zobrist. He seems to be feeling fine. Yeah, are hoping to get him back maybe Monday.
Yeah, he was encouraged in the homestand that just concluded on Sunday that, you know, as much as he wanted to be in Tampa on Thursday, the team that traded the A's, to be there, and where he had a lot of success with the Tampa Bay Rays, realized, and very good point, he said the A's, and they want him to be strong when he comes back, to have the full recovery so that when he does come back, that he doesn't have to leave as Coco, basically just coming back. Minnesota, and now here we are in this game, and he has to come out. Hope he's okay with the neck injury.
Ben Zobrist will get plenty of work this week, and hopefully he will be ready next week to come back.
Good to see him on the bike right after he had surgery, then running the bases, taking batting practice, taking ground balls. Eric Sogard has done a tremendous job in second. Zobrist went down. Sogard stepped in at second base. He's played there every day against lefties and righties. Swung the bat well, played flawlessly defensively. Just a great sight to see when he's out there.
And that one's right there, strike 3 called. So that is 4 strikeouts for Sonny Gray.
Good location, good fastball. After a good curveball that was down, Castro swung a miss. And you know, not only is this a quality pitch, I mean, you're looking at the pitch right on the corner. And you're going to get the hitter questioning the location, but that's a perfectly thrown fastball. Both do it. Andy Fletcher, of course, did. See, they're talking about what Sonny Gray's doing now, maybe differently than what he did in the first couple of innings.
VR swings through that fastball, 94 miles an hour, down around the knees. Last 3 starts, at least 9 strikeouts. Trying to get there tonight.
Had the 10 against the Rangers that started the nice run. That unbelievable 10 strikeouts, 7 walks, no runs. And a W.
Last 3 starts, 28 strikeouts in 19 2/3 innings. Now that does not include his 3 2/3 innings tonight. He's allowed just 2 earned runs.
The numbers we showed on Nolan Ryan pitching for the Astros, he averaged a strikeout per inning when he pitched for the Astros, like 1,800 plus innings, over 1,800 strikeouts. I mean, he has the all-time record for the most. That's a record probably won't be broken. Guys won't pitch long enough to break the strikeout record.
I would imagine that he's a humble man, but I wonder what he thinks about when such a big deal if somebody gets 200 innings pitched and 200 strikeouts. Well, he was striking out 350 guys.
Exactly. And 300 plus innings.
right to Muncy, and Sonny Gray has a 3-up, 3-down 4th inning. So he's retired 5 in a row overall. We're on to the 5th. Astros 2, A's 1.
Level on select games, and everyone in your group will receive an A's replica batting practice pullover. For more information on available games or to book your group jersey day outing, call 510-6-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/jersey. That's a deal. 25. Boy, everybody gets a pullover. That is a special deal at the Coliseum.
Top of the 5th inning from Minute Maid Park here in Houston. Game 2 of this 3-game series. Sogard leading things off. Hits one to shallow left. And Tucker calls off VR. He makes the catch. 1 away here in the 5th.
Wonder how much a hitter changes his approach when he looks out in the outfield and sees the guys playing so shallow. As he was robbed of a base hit, Sogard was his first at bat. You can just see that time just kind of got under a pitch.
Well, it probably looks like it's almost impossible to drop it in front of the left field. So here's Burns, his first at bat. He is in the game for Coco Crisp. If you're just joining us, Coco with some stiffness in his neck. And Billy Burns says you can get it in front of the left fielder if he's playing shallow. He's got that stroke down.
And if he has been watching, which we know he has been the early part of this game, he saw a high leg kick for Hernandez. You talk about just flipping the ball, Ichiro style. This is Ichiro, except Ichiro took a little bit of a stride, but Billy Burns, that is. Billy Butler wishes he had the speed of Billy Burns, but that ball did drop in front of the left fielder. So stolen base by Simeon, result in a run for the A's. 1 out here, and see if Billy Burns also uses the speed that he has, especially with the high leg kick of this Astros pitcher. Slide step.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it. I think Burns recognized that guy because he started, looked like he's taken off, and then saw the slide step and realized it was going to be a quicker release.
Simeon a strikeout and a single.
And his eyes looking to the right side, seeing that huge hole with the second baseman Altuve close to the bag at second. And there it is. And again, this is all about Hernandez's approach of pitching. And a bunch in the infield on left side expecting Simeon to pull the ball.
Burns with a little lean. And he runs. Pitches the ball, throw to second base. It pops off the glove of Altuve, and Burns is safe.
Might have had it if it's held on by Altuve. Quick release again by Castro. More of a slide step this time again by Hernandez, anticipating, and Castro laid it there, and if he catches it, he's out. And I think Altuve thought the same thing. Tried to plant the tag before the ball was clearly in his glove, and maybe just did not look the ball into the small glove that the second baseman will use. So good break for the A's on that one.
So stolen base number 4 for Burns. 3 steals tonight.
Brent Strom might have said something to his big pitcher about, you know, you got to help you catch. You've got to go a little bit more of a slide step. And I can go back to his normal delivery. High leg kick. There's the crafty left-hander. A little bit easier for him this year. Pretty good pitching staff for Brent Strom. Other than last couple of years, it's not been that great.
2-1 the count to Simeon. Reddick to follow. The changeup, but stays outside. So now 3-1.
Hernandez changing his delivery. That time a quick pitch. So maybe the base runner's getting in the head a little bit of Hernandez.
Altuve standing right near second base, keeping Burns, and now the quick throw. Altuve's not going to wander too far from second base, knowing Burns could take off. Right to Altuve, and he actually put his foot on second base. Braced himself, throws out Simeon, 2 away. So Burns now at third.
Say what you want about the shifts, and worked out again. That ball typically up the middle is going to be a base hit, but if it's first runner at first, that's an easy double play. No. Burns hoping the ball got up the middle, but had to stop at third.
So Reddick, the hitter. Maybe going over how to approach Reddick, who's 29 RBIs on the year.
But whether or not Roberto Hernandez realized what Reddick did in his last at bat, maybe Brent Strom is reminding him one of 2 things. You have a right-hand hitter in the on-deck circle, or remember Josh Reddick. Those pretty good numbers. 2 outs running in score position, but he sat on a changeup and got the changeup and hit the double. And maybe that's a reminder to this right-hander that throw him the fastball away and let him get the base hit to left field, with now vacated on the other side. Unbelievable. These shifts.
And Reddick takes a strike down around the knees.
Josh does a good job of just kind of dragging the bat through the zone, which helps with a pitch outside to just kind of drag it through and hit the ball to the opposite field.
Infield shifted to the right, outfield shifted to the left, which you do see that more often than you would think. So Reddick probably not thrilled with both of the strikes called on him, but he'll have to fight through the 0-2 count. Pitch number 80. Here it is. And it floats outside. We're going to change it.
Hernandez in between pitches kind of lifting his front leg, and I don't know if he's starting to feel a little bit in his legs what had happened, but it's this unique kind of setup where it goes down like that and bring the ball up and look in for the sign.
Not close. So 2-2 the count. As you can tell, since we're in the 5th inning, he's a very deliberate worker. Takes his time.
Change up.
And it's hit toward right center. Shallow. Rasmus on the move, and Rasmus runs it down. Side retired. Ace Strand, runner at third. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Top of the order for the Astros. They lead 2-1. Collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. We always like the in-stadium food shots. That looks good.
Yeah, bring one of each, huh?
Yeah.
Or no, at least 4 or 5 of each. Take care of everybody.
Yeah. That would make us happy. Bottom of the 5th, and it's the top of the order. Sonny Gray. A lot of pitches tonight.
Altuve wants a hit. He's swinging on everything.
Waved at that one. 0-2.
So with those 2 swings, why would you throw him a strike? I mean, he's a bad ball hitter, but these are really bad balls. I mean, first one up and out of the strike zone, this one in the dirt. Really, his hope, really swinging a pitch like that with 2 strikes, it might get past Vogt.
And then an 0-2 pitch drilled right back up the middle into center field. How about that?
He did not see a strike in the at-bat.
That pitch was a high fastball.
And why you would not bounce a ball, throw one off the plate, nothing like that. And Sonny Gray had to go right back over the mound with a high fastball.
So what do you think the strategy there, Ray? 0-2 pitch with a fastball, just get it away?
Yeah, get it away and up, but I mean, you see an aggressive hitter like that with the first 2 pitches, bounce it. I mean, sometimes it's harder to bounce a ball than it is to throw a fastball in a better location, or it's a better pitch to throw if you're trying to waste one. But he is an aggressive hitter, Altuve, and he won't go too long without getting a hit.
He was 0 for 13 until that hit. 1-0 to Valbuena, who has singled and popped out. Keep an eye on Altuve. 14 steals this year in 18 attempts. missed again. 3-0. Altuve and Jacoby Ellsbury lead the American League with those 14 steals. Springer to follow. After Springer, it would be Gaddis.
You don't normally have a throw-over on a 3-0 count, but last night there was a stolen base attempt on the 3-0, and that was Altuve going to third. He was out, but it was ball 4.
And the 3-0 pitch in there for a strike.
I think one thing Altuve realizes, Sonny Gray is quick to the plate. He does not really allow base runner to get too big of a lead, as he has quick. He's getting a. What was that sign? I didn't catch that.
Go when you feel you want to go.
You see his hand? Look at his hand. Does that mean I can go?
Well, it's interesting, Ray. He really does not have much of a lead at all. He's giving off the impression that he's not going anywhere, just simply because he usually gets a big lead, but not really getting much of anything.
Well, he's going now. If he gets the same lead and it's a strike him out, should be a throw him out. That is a very, very short lead.
He inches off a little bit. He runs, and the pitch is low. So Valbuena walks, 2 on, nobody out. So for Sonny Gray, his second walk tonight, he's got 4 strikeouts. So he's pitching in traffic again. The only easy inning he's had was last inning when he went 3 up, 3 down. Springer with runners in scoring position. 120 is the batting average. Springer a walk in the first and a fly ball to right field in the third. Hit a ball very deep to right center that Reddick caught. Right on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. Angels beat the Blue Jays 3-2. Just went final. Santiago got the win. Sanchez got the loss. Houston Street got his 13th save. Calhoun with a home run for the Angels. Donaldson with his 9th home run for the Blue Jays. Springer chased that one, and it's 0-2.
Now he swings at it, because that's a pitch he laid off in his first at bat. Ended up walking on a 3-2 same pitch, but he laid off about 3 pitches in the first at bat. This one he flew open and thought he was going to get another fastball. Did not.
And that one just a bit low.
A little flinch by Mr. Fletcher, as it looked like he started to call it. I don't know if this is too low. Evidently.
Surprised Springer didn't swing at it.
Yeah.
He's very aggressive. Although he does seem to have the ability to tighten up his strike zone a little bit when he gets 2 strikes. Because he walks a lot and he strikes out a lot. One-two, here it is, and it's inside, almost hits Springer.
I think you might have been looking outside the way he reacted on this pitch towards his kneecap. I don't know if you want to try to get hit by a pitch like that either.
So Vogt goes through the signs, and here comes the 2-2 pitch, and it's high. So Springer, seen him do this a lot. It was 0-2, and now it's 3-2. So we'll see if the runners go 3-2. They do not, and he missed on a close pitch.
Wow.
And Stephen Vogt's turning around, asking Andy Fletcher. Sonny Gray's not happy. You don't see Stephen Vogt chirp too much, and he is hot.
Well, and then Fletcher also is typically doing what they should not do. Put the mask on and get back behind the plate. You don't have to have the ears when you blow a couple of calls. And I see Kurt Young saying something too. And there's nothing wrong with this pitch. I mean, these guys from the side are looking right at it.
That's a strike.
That is a strike. And how a hitter cannot swing at this pitch is beyond me. And how it cannot be called out is even worse.
See where the ball crossed that front leg? It's right at the knee. And they're all chirping on Andy Fletcher, and quite frankly, he deserves to be chirped on a little bit.
That's enough. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, it's enough. Because you can't stand it whenever you blow a call. That's incredible. I mean, really, there were two pitches in that at bat, both fastballs, same location. And unfortunately, when that happens, it's tough to get close calls after.
Yep. Sure. So the bases are loaded, nobody out for Gaddis. And Gaddis takes a strike. Yeah, that's as much as we've ever seen Stephen Vogt show anger behind the plate.
Exactly.
He just always keeps it pretty calm, but he had a right to be mad there. And that one off Vogt. Runners coming home. Throw to the plate. Tag, and they got him. Altuve's out at the plate. Vogt scrambled after, and he made a nice throw to Sonny Gray. And Gray had time to get the tag down.
And that's the key, Kai. The good throw from Stephen Vogt. Watch the hesitation from Altuve. He didn't know where the ball was, did not know how quickly, and a good throw. And Altuve never got to the plate. The other two runners do advance, but if he breaks immediately, he's probably safe. But he didn't, and he's out, and that's a huge play. Stephen Vogt with Sonny Gray, talk about an athlete, puts himself right in front of Altuve. Give me the throw, reaches back, puts his knees down, goes after. Still hadn't got the plate.
If you hesitate at all trying to go third to home on a pass ball, you might as well just stay right there.
Now the infield
hesitated a lot.
Infield will come in.
Two and one to Gaddis. Gaddis reached on a fielder's choice in the first, singled in the third.
Gaddis a veteran, and Tucker in the on-deck circle, although left-hander, allows you to put the infield back for two, but just question whether you want to give in to this big guy.
Had a good rip there. Fastball right around the letters.
The thing about Sonny Gray, he is a strikeout pitcher. He can get the strikeouts and get a bit added. And no stride by Gaddis, and on it, but fouled it back.
Infield in, outfield deep.
Gaddis, you throw him that hard slider down, maybe he's swinging over it. Have to throw it hard, though.
There's a base hit left field. Got a little bit too much to the plate. One run's going to score. They'll stop Springer at third, so Gaddis got a better breaking ball to hit there, and he's got an RBI single. So it's now 3-1, the Astros lead.
You know, it's similar to the one that Chris Carter hit. Look how it stays up. He tried to bury it. You know, Cobb, that was more of the curveball. It was not the hard slider and the curveball. And he's able to stay back because he left it up.
So here's Preston Tucker. So 7 hits now for the Astros. They've also received 3 walks, and they're still just in the 5th inning. First pitch to Tucker is popped up left field. Fold coming in. Springer tagging. Fold's got it. Springer's not going anywhere as Laurie grabs the throw. So Tucker is retired.
Well, I'm shocked they didn't send it, because I mean that takes a strong throw. You don't see a lot of outfielders that throw well. Fold does, but that throw a little bit offline. Fortunately, Brett Laurie cut it, and Springer had taken off. It was not that deep, but a little bit offline, as you can see with Laurie coming across, and he might have still been able to cut the ball and throw to the plate if he had been running. That's a big out.
Fernando Rodriguez is throwing for the A's. So here's Colby Rasmus. Fastball low. So 2 hits and 2 walks in the inning. 98 pitches now for Sonny Gray. And a high strike, 1-1. Lots of pitches, 25 in the second, 20 in the third, 23 here in the fifth. Got 4 strikeouts. Tried to go with the fastball again, a little high. But Billy Burns is playing deep, is he not?
Yes, he is.
My, oh my. He is playing super deep.
Maybe he likes Tal's Hill.
Not that far from it.
No, he's not.
And now 3-1. So Sonny just a little off tonight. Lots of balls, 44 balls, 57 strikes. 3-1 swing and a miss. Fastball with some little riding movement to it.
It's called expanding your strike zone, maybe out of the strike zone. That pitch away, and not only was he swinging at a bad pitch, he was trying to pull the outside high fastball, and that's a double whammy.
Gaddis, the runner at first, goes, and that ball is hit high and foul, left field line. So Gaddis returns to first. So a run in here in the fifth for the Astros. Muncy handles a very tough hop, flips to Gray, side retired, so it could have been worse. 1 run for the Astros. 6th inning coming up. Houston 3, the A's 1.
Series from Thursday, May the 28th through Sunday, May 31st. Great seats are still available, but don't wait. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. That's 1 week from Thursday. He's back at the Coliseum on Memorial Day next Monday for a 3-game set against the Tigers, and then the Yankees in for 4 starting that Thursday.
See, with the Tigers today, put Victor Martinez on the disabled list.
I saw that, and I saw the play that put him on, too. Is he trying to beat out an infield hit? Jammed his left foot into the bag, and, of course, he had off-season knee surgery. And
sounds like that knee's still bothering him some, too.
Yeah, I think so.
So Victor Martinez, who had an unbelievable year as the designated hitter last year, but numbers down this year, and just going to let him wait it out until that knee starts feeling better. So when the Tigers come to the Coliseum Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they will not have their terrific DH Victor Martinez.
And that's a lot of protection for one Miguel Cabrera.
Right to the shortstop. VR throws out Butler 1 away. The Orioles beat the Mariners tonight 9-4 in Baltimore. That's the first of a 3-game series. Gonzalez the win, Farquhar the loss. Nelson Cruz another home run, his 16th of the year for Seattle. Seth Smith also hit a home run, his 4th, but the Mariners lose game 1 of that series. I mentioned the Rangers starting a long road trip, and it's the same thing with the Mariners. They go Baltimore, Toronto, Tampa Bay on their 3-city trip.
At least they have 3 East Coast teams at the same time. The A's get to go to Tampa and then back to California and then back to Boston. So now that's always good because the Mariners will always have the most air miles in a season because of the location. Right, A's are close though.
Yes, they are. Foul straight back. The Mariners made a trade today. They got a catcher by the name of Wellington Castillo from the Cubs for Yorvis Medina. You saw Medina, although he was good last year, not quite as good this year. And it sounded like the Mariners, I don't know, maybe a little concerned about Mike Zunino. He's really struggled offensively.
Well, the Cubs had 3 catchers.
Yeah.
And of course, Ross catches John Lester exclusively. Together in Boston as they were, now both with the Cubs.
But my guess is, you know, Castillo may play a little bit. Gives Zunino a break if nothing else. Castro seems to be okay. So 2-2 to vote. Took a couple of ground balls to second. This one's popped up. Headed for the seats. And it'll be into the seats. First row behind the A's dugout. A nice play. Everybody around him's impressed. Vogt steps back in. Muncy to follow. Good take there on that changeup, which Hernandez has thrown a lot of tonight.
Right here. Come on, Bert. Come on, Bert.
I'm just thinking it's a bullpen game. Tony Sipp is listening for the Astros, and last night the Astros used a whole bunch of relievers, but not used Thatcher, Harris, Fields, Buchanan. Not Sipp, Neshek, or Gregerson.
Roll foul. Both teams bullpens. Well, I take that back. The A's bullpen 4 2/3 innings last night. Astros bullpen 4 1/3. So plenty of work last night.
If the ones that are listening or will lose, then tonight after Sipp, with the lead for the Astros. Last night they were trailing.
Hit in the air to left. Tucker's right there. So Vogt is 0 for 3. So Muncy will hit with 2 outs. Hernandez trying to finish strong here. He has not had a 3-up, 3-down inning tonight, so he's had to work hard too. Not quite as much as Sonny Gray. Muncy takes a strike.
You know, your point earlier, and I know, I think inning ended, but you made the point about Nola Ryan being humble, but looking at pitchers who pitched 200 innings and strike out 200 when he was 300 plus in both categories. But remember, he went to Texas, brought Mike Maddox in, and he said, take that pitch counter and throw it away. He said, you can watch a pitcher and he'll tell you how he's feeling. You don't have to count his pitches. And it kind of changed things.
He noticed it too,
exactly.
right? When he got
Absolutely.
there, all of a sudden it was a little bit different with the pitchers.
And really, Sonny Gray, as Fernando Rodriguez, I think, is warming up. At least somebody's throwing. It looks like Sonny might be finished. He's over 100 pitches in 5 innings. So that is Fernando.
0-2 way outside to Muncy. Muncy has walked and hit a fly ball to left field.
But I asked Nolan Ryan about that one time, about the 4-man rotation, number of pitches. He said you have to train guys for it. And right now they're trained in the 5-man rotation, 33, 34 starts. You get close to 100 pitches, start looking at the bullpen. So it definitely has changed.
Muncy, right field, down the line, and that baby's gone. Muncy homers his second career home run, and it's 3-2.
Well, you have a smattering of fans, perhaps the 25 of his family and friends, or at least friends, are here to watch. And yeah, there are the signs for Max Muncy, and young man can play. And he is showing it, especially turning on a fastball. No silent treatment here. Gets the tunnel. They gave him the silent treatment on Sunday at the Coliseum. He's very quick. He waits a long time, and when he does turn on something, he explodes, and he did on the fastball from Hernandez.
So back to a 1-run game thanks to Max Muncy. Right down the right field line.
Well, watch his swing. It's a 2-strike swing. Just watch how quickly he turns. Right there, hips open, and he explodes. Hit the home run to right center, left center, that is. They'll make it right center against Samardzija. This one right down the line, but that's how quickly he turned on a fastball from Roberto Hernandez. You said correctly, Kai, was trying to finish strong, and maybe he lost a little bit on the fastball, didn't get it where he wanted it. Max Muncy made it pay. So a good swing by the young first baseman, the multi-talented and multi-position player.
It's a season high in pitches for Hernandez. In fact, this is the first time he's got to 100.
That's a big run, too, for the A's to get back within 1.
Close, but fouled on the left field line.
As you know, the bullpen's coming in for the Astros. Bullpen coming in for the A's. Last innings for both teams will be bullpen related.
So you won the bullpen battle last night, and you get to win it again tonight. Full count. Sam Fold is waiting, hoping to get a chance to hit. 2 outs.
again.
And it was a high changeup, popped up. And it'll be into the seats.
Difference there, he looked like he didn't want to try to throw it down out of the strike zone, and almost made a mistake to the point of got Laurie hitting it hard someplace.
Another 3-2. Here it is, and it's bounced to Carter. Knocks it down, picks it up, flips, and they just got the hustling Laurie. So Max Muncy with his second home run, and that gets the A's just a little bit closer. So we're going to the bottom of the sixth. It's the Astros 3 and the A's 2.
Well, a two-run home run, only the second given up by Sonny Gray this season. The left-hander, and then the A's came back. Josh Reddick with a run-scoring double after Marcus Semien had singled and stolen second. And then Evan Gattis, a hard base hit. The A's fortunate, bases loaded, nobody out. Sonny Gray only gave up one run, and then Max Muncy, like Samardzija so much, he decided to take Roberto Hernandez deep as well. He did, and that made it a 3-2 game. Again, first time through the tunnel as they gave him the cold shoulder. The silent treatment on Sunday. Max Muncy has made it a 3-2 game in the bottom of the sixth inning. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world.
So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and brake experts. So Fernando Rodriguez comes in for his 7th appearance, and he'll start out by facing Chris Carter and Jason Castro and Jonathan Villar. So 5 innings for Sonny Gray. There's too many pitches for Sonny. First pitch, and Carter skies one mile in the air, right center. And Reddick grabs it, one away. So 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. And the note down at the bottom, shortest outing of the year for Gray. So he really was working in and out of traffic pretty much the whole game. So Fernando Rodriguez tried to keep the Astros at 3 runs and see if the A's can come back. Fastball high to Jason Castro. It's a final from Fenway. Red Sox 4, Rangers 3. Miley the winner, Gallardo the loser. Excuse me, right?
No, that's fine. It's some news that
David Ortiz hit a home run. Napoli also homered. So
they're getting hot.
A little bit. Yep. So Red Sox 4, Rangers 3. So Angels win, Mariners lose, Rangers lose. That's your update for the American League West.
Well, I just wanted to say that Mike Selleck just came in the booth in between innings. And while we know Jared Parker had to have elbow surgery, if there's any good news about it, it's not related to Tommy John surgery. Yep. It's just the fractured elbow. Mike Selleck, the PR director on this trip, and was able to report. I think we just sent out a release, but I mean, that's got to be good news for Jared Parker, because he's had the second Tommy John surgery, and while there was talk about maybe a third, which you don't even want to think about that. And this is, I guess, the attachment of the tendon to the elbow, which he fractured in Nashville. He was very soon to come back to the A's, and hoping he's going to be able to. So the surgery put him on the 60-day disabled list. But I guess if there's good news, is the fact that fractured elbow instead of related to the Tommy John surgery. That would have been devastating. But still, it's going to be another comeback for him.
Sogard backhands, straightens up, and it's the second out.
In fact, the one thing we've talked about with Brett Lawrie and taking a backhanded ground ball, Eric Sogard just does it. And this is what we've been talking about. Watch how he goes to his right, doesn't leave his feet. Reaches down, backhands the ball. And while you could say, yes, it's a second base, a shorter throw, but still the key, if you can keep your feet, then you can set yourself and make the throw versus going to the ground and the timing is off. Maybe concentration on the baseball, the ball can take a bad hop. But that is exactly what I know Mike Gallego teaches. Backhand, set yourself and throw. Don't leave your feet unless it's necessary.
And don't you think once you dive, and you're diving because there's no other way to get the ball.
Yeah.
But once you dive, you limit what you can do.
Exactly. Exactly. Now
you become pretty one-dimensional.
Right. And any time, and I thought the play that Stephen Bolt made, where that great defensive play, what, 5, I think there's 6 in one game. But remember when he went to the slide, he had to concentrate with him in the slide and trying to follow the ball. You lose everything when you're on the ground and your body's moving, sliding. And so if you can keep your feet, it's going to be much easier. I mean, especially hard hit balls.
So Rodriguez, nice fastball, gets it by VR, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Fernando Rodriguez. 7th inning coming up.
Next Monday, May 25th, for a special holiday matinee as the A's take on the Detroit Tigers at 1:05 p.m. That afternoon, 15,000 fans will get an A's road cap. It's great. Presented by Comerica Bank. Comerica Bank. Get your tickets now by calling 877-493-BALL or visiting athletics.com/tickets. The Tigers play at Comerica Park. Sponsored by Comerica Bank at the Coliseum next Monday, the road cap giveaway. Oh, that's a Texas size cap there. Now there's a Texas size cap.
It's good as long as you're not sitting behind.
Oh, here's our guy. Hook him. What if he started that in 05 when the Astros went to the World Series and were defeated by the White Sox?
He's way out in left center field.
I think he owns that seat too, don't you think? Or that standing spot?
That's his spot. New pitcher and a pinch hitter. The new pitcher is Tony Sipp, left-hander, and the pinch hitter is Mark Canha.
Sipp pitched 3 times at the Coliseum. Actually, once here and twice in Oakland. Over the top fastball, good split finger fastball, and that breaking ball.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and brake expert. So good season so far for Sipp. Just 8 hits and 3 walks allowed in 15 and a third innings.
Split finger fastball grip as he sets up, get ready to throw. Throws a heater.
So Canha hitting for Fold. Sam Fold was 1 for 2 with an infield hit. Swing and a miss. Good pitch there. So for Roberto Hernandez, he leaves with a chance to get a win. 6 innings, just a couple of runs. He was in trouble a fair amount as well, but up the home run to Muncy.
Might have to change philosophy. Have to start looking for more changeups with him because he featured a lot tonight.
Foul back to the screen. If you remember Hernandez, he had 3 strikeouts and they were in the very first inning. He walked Coco and then struck out Simeon, Reddick, and Butler. And those were the only strikeouts he had. So he's going to sit back and see if his bullpen can get the final 9 outs. The strike 3 call looked like it was high. I didn't think he was going to call it, and he did.
I didn't think he was either. Well, he's maybe a high ball strike umpire because that seemed awfully high, even though it's down the plate. Mark Canha at the letters above the belt, but he didn't believe it was a strike.
So 1 out here in the 7th. Here's Sogard. Sogard has hit a fly ball to center field and a fly ball to left field. And he hits this one high in the air to right. Springer's under it. And Springer trots in. So 2 outs. And this is what happened early in the game if you didn't see it. 2 plays at home plate. And the A's were out both times in the same inning.
That's 8-6 to 2. And Muncy there. And then the one that really hurt was this one. Sam Fold beats it out. Roberto Hernandez spun through to the plate, and Brett Lloyd thought he was safe. They challenged it, but he was called out, and it stayed out. And it's Jerry Mills making the call. But that is a good play. But you have to be running hard from second all the way. And those 2 plays at the plate. The A's trailing by a run.
Here's Burns. Change up, swing and miss. And what you just don't want to have happen is you don't want to lose by 1 run.
That's right. Exactly.
Because anytime you lose a 1-run game, you always go back and you dissect the game a little closer, I think. And that one outside corner, 0-2 to Burns.
On the other hand, you'd like to have the A's win a 1-run game, because then Altuve could look back and say he didn't get a quick enough jump off third base and was out at the plate.
Then he would be dissecting.
That's right. But this is a Tony Sip inning. Then you have Neshek, Qualls, and Gregerson that A.J. Hinch and Brent Strom can go to. So those guys, Sip and the other three mentioned, did not pitch last night in a game in which the A's won 2-1. Another 1-run game tonight.
Burns in the game for Coco Crisp. Coco left with some neck stiffness. Broken bat, flipped into center, and that's a base hit. 2-out single for Burns.
Going to have to start nicknaming him Wee Wheeler. Keeler. Hit him where they ain't, because he flared one. And this, just watching how they bunched infield, outfield, I mean, there's no place to hit the ball, yet he breaks his bat. You can hear it crack, shatter, and loops it into center field in front of Rasmus. No chance. No shift, no chance. And now see if he tries to steal, and might as well. Although Simeon, with the outfield playing shallow, he could hit a ball to the gap and change everything.
He's had 3 steals tonight. Coco had 1, Simeon has 1, and Burns has 1.
But again, if he's going to run, he has to go on first move and continue to run, not a run down. Lefty looking right at it. There he is.
Carter's throw to second base is wide, and Burns gets in, and then he came off the bag, and they tagged him out.
Wow.
It was kind of an awkward slide by Billy Burns. It really wasn't a normal smooth slide into the bag, and he came off the bag, and they tagged him out. So that's how the top of the 7th comes to an end. 7th inning stretch from Minute Maid Park, 3-2 Astros. Brought to you by Real Strong Redwood. Why Redwood? Well, visit realstrongredwood.com. That is a statue of Sam Houston. There's a college named after him. Sam Houston State. So 3-2 Astros lead. This is how the inning ended.
He did go on first move, just run, and tripped, almost tripped there, and then, wow. What?
That's how you get hurt.
Yeah, you like break your ankle. And then basically they just kept the tag right there. He's safe. And then Altuve, as he's called, safe. And then Jerry Mills pointing out that Paul Emmel did, that he overslid the bag. And wow, that's hard to watch.
We're glad Billy Burns is okay. That could have been ugly.
You know, I wonder when he almost fell in between first and second, if that threw his timing off and his running off, and because that was dangerous. I mean, he was safe, but bottom line, almost seriously hurt himself.
Marcana stays in the game. He's in left field. So Fold is out. Altuve's 1 for 3. Taps this one slowly. Quick throw to first, and once he can't dig it out, Altuve is going to be safe whether he digs it out or not. So just a little tapper. Laurie had to wait to field it, and it's going to be a hit.
Another broken bat, and slowed it down just enough. And you're right, with the speed of Altuve and the fact that Laurie had to go to his right. Wow. Not much you can do. He's very hard to defend.
Man. He is line to line, isn't he?
He is, really. I mean, maybe if you roll the ball up, he'd find a way to swing at it.
So a lot of options here for the Astros. Valbuena, the left-handed hitter. You got Altuve, a very fine base stealer. You got a hole on the right side. You got Laurie, the third baseman, in. Fastball away, 1-0. Good interleague matchup. The Nationals and the Yankees playing. Nationals beat the Yankees 8-6, and I give you that score only because Bryce Harper hit another home run rate. He's got 10 home runs in his last 12 games.
How about that?
Chad Quall starts to throw. Bryce Harper right now. Altuve goes, pitches up and away, throw to second. Not in time. Stolen base, Altuve.
Well, Bob Melvin is going to check on it and have Mike Andretti talk to. And this is after a pretty good jump by Altuve and a very strong quick throw by Stephen Vogt. And did he get him on the side or the back? And he's going to ask, this could be an umpire's check, I think is what he's saying. Did it get him here before his hand got the bag?
I think
it looked like he did. Exactly.
He's out.
And so it could be an umpire challenge. But he got him there. Right there. And he's tagging him before the hand gets the bag.
I think he's out.
Yeah, because his hand is not on the bag, and see the
tag.
Yep. And
he's out.
He's out.
Because he tagged him first down by the belt area and then kind of swiped the tag up to his arm. We'll see what the call is.
Notice Bob Melvin went to the crew chief, Jerry Meals, and said, you know, it has to be an umpire's challenge. Now watch the hand. The key is the hand, and the tag is right there. And the hand is not on the bag. Actually got him on the hip, and then looked like the thigh before the hand got on the bag.
And I wonder too, Ray, if you're a manager, and this is the best look, watch contact by the belt. He tags him there.
Out. He called him out. They've changed it, and he's out. Yeah, and that's a good call.
And I wonder, Ray, too, if a manager doesn't, you come out there in this situation where you have to try to convince the umpires to look at it because it's their call. And you say, listen, my guy, my video guy said he's out.
Exactly.
So you probably need to look at it.
And you need to get it right. And so that is a great call. Stephen Vogt, again, a very, very quick release because Altuve had a big jump. That was when you go to the crew chief, it has to be his decision. And that's a great call that you just said because Adam Roden was very quick to point out that he's out. And then to say to the umpire, watch the quick release by Stephen Vogt. I mean, this is a big jump by Altuve, but Stephen got it. The footwork was great. Throw right on the bag. And Simeon making the play at second. And see that discussed with Stephen when he initially thought it was out in the challenge and back to the good side.
So anytime you get an out with Altuve, it's a good thing. 3-1 to Luis Valbuena. Good fastball from Rodriguez.
Well, let him keep taking that huge swing, because if he does that, it's going to be tough to catch up to Fernando's fastball. Big swing, leg kick, and he's swinging for the downs, and no chance to catch up.
So full count, Springer on deck. And another good fastball. And that's the second strikeout for Rodriguez.
See the reaction Fernando after he did it. I mean, that was a pretty good sight to see, because he finishes with this fastball, and watch this. Yeah. I mean, that's coming back after falling behind. And I think he realized with his leg kick that Altuve got a pretty good jump. Stephen Vogt made the strong throw and the quick release second. And then he came back, and instead of putting Valbuena on via the walk, he just blew him away with a couple of fastballs.
So here's Springer with 2 outs. Fastball on the outside corner for a strike.
Well, it's back into the bullpen, and of course Chad Qualls, and we also have Pat Neshek and Luke Gregerson. So we'll see how AJ Hinch goes, and A's would like to thwart that decision by those guys.
Springer has walked twice and hit a fly ball to right field. He's walked 5 times in the first 2 games of this series. Hits it hard to right to Simeon. And that'll do it. So a nice inning for Fernando Rodriguez. Actually a nice 2 innings for the right-hander. 3-2 as we go to the 8th.
By Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
Thursday, May the 28th, against the New York Yankees. 15,000 fans will receive the one-of-a-kind Stephen Vogt referee bobblehead driven by Chevrolet, which features audio of his referee calls and the famous fan chant. And if you believe in Stephen Vogt, get your tickets right now by calling 877-493-BALL or visiting athletics.com/tickets. And saw some of that today with Josh Reddick on somebody. They kept showing the Stephen Vogt referee commercial they do, but
how can you not?
I know. It's the best.
When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. The veteran Chad Qualls comes in, 36-year-old right-hander. 12th year in the big leagues for Qualls. He started his career here with the Astros. And now back. He was with them last year and had 19 saves last year. Not the closer this year, though, and probably in a better spot for him now in the 7th or 8th inning. Erasmus moves to left, and Jake Marisnick comes in the game. He's in center. There's a strike, 1-2. That Qualls was a big part of the bullpen back in 2005 when the Astros went to the World Series. He pitched in 77 games that year. Then with Arizona, Tampa Bay, San Diego, Philadelphia, the Yankees, the Pirates. Charging his VR, throws low. Carter digs it out. Simeon is retired. So 1 away here in the top of the 8th inning.
Pretty nice play and a nice pick by Chris Carter, who is started to play some pretty good first base. Footwork there pretty good. And big man 2-run home run tonight.
Yeah, he really has come a long way at first base.
He really has. And you know, the interesting thing about this Sip pitch in the 7th inning and Qualls in this inning, he had a couple of pretty good. Well, this left-handed hitter, Simeon. Of course, Reddick is hitting now. Try to stay away from him, as that first pitch would indicate. And you have Butler and Vogt to follow. And remember, Neshek and Gregerson are both right-handed.
One and one to Reddick, who is 1 for 3. He had an RBI double. He bounces this one. Picked up. Shortstop fires to first. Little hesitation between Altuve and VR. It looked like Altuve was going to backhand it, and then he didn't, and Altuve kind of backed up, and VR really had to hurry.
Well, you're right, Kai, because right there he started, and I tell you, that's how things are going pretty well for the Astros, because that's a miscue almost waiting to happen. And as it turned out, VR handled it very, very well, considering he could have bobbled it if he'd taken his eye off the ball.
So a couple of ground outs. Here's Butler. Slider outside. Butler a strikeout, a ground out to second, ground out to short. Shift is on. And he got a hanger to hit. Watch this pitch.
He's there, and he could have hit that out to right field. There's Luke Gregerson, the closer.
The 2-1 now to Butler. Remember, day game tomorrow. You can see it right here on Comcast Sportsnet California. 11:05 first pitch. And then on to Florida and the Rays. Good pitch there, 2-2. Got him swinging. Pretty good slider by Qualls, and a good inning for the veteran right-hander. Couple of groundouts and a strikeout. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Astros 3, A's 2. 2-8-0 for the A's. 3-8-0 for the Astros. Sonny Gray, not as sharp as we've seen him. Went 5 innings, had quite a few base runners. But still, when it was all said and done, kept the A's in the game. Muncy with a home run. Roberto Hernandez went 6 innings. Chris Carter, the big hits for Houston, a 2-run shot. So it's the bottom of the 8th inning. A's trailing by a run. And Fernando Rodriguez, so he's been so good. Bob Melvin says, I'm going to send him out there for a 3rd inning. He's only thrown 20 pitches. So on in relief of Sonny Gray. First pitch strike. Oh, what a relief. And we agree.
It is and has been.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. But it is good to see these guys who have been grinding. They've had some tough times, but maybe it's a start where they can all kind of get rolling a little bit. But they were very good last night, and they've been good tonight thanks to Fernando Rodriguez. Skied right center shallow. Sogard backpedaling, and then Reddick comes in, and Reddick will grab it. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th. Hey, we got in-depth sports news for the great Bay Area sports fans. Know it all with Sportsnet Central. It's brought to you by Hyundai. It's tonight at 10:30 on our sister station, Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. We'll have highlights and interviews from this ball game, and of course, complete Rockets-Warriors Game 1 highlights and post-game reaction from that Western Conference series between the Warriors and the Rockets. A couple of A's fans here in Houston. They may be curious to see what the Warriors score is. Marisnick hitting his first at bat.
A.J. Hinch, the manager, making this move defensively as Tucker was in left field, put Marisnick in. And it's more defensive, even though he probably figured it was going to be righty on righty. But with the lead, you go with the lead and the defense versus worrying about the hitting. Although Marisnick not a bad hitter himself, great speed, and he gets on base, always a threat to steal.
Like a little cut fastball, a little bit outside. Gregerson will try to save it for the Astros. Right now it's a 3-2 lead. Mentioned that we're headed to St. Petersburg to take on the Rays. The Rays won tonight. They beat Atlanta. And the Yankees lost. I say that because that means the Rays are tied for first place in the AL East. And you want to talk about roster turnover. They got a whole bunch of new players.
Starting with the manager.
Yeah.
And their president. I mean, there's a lot of changes.
From Marisnick with the walk. So we'll be seeing a much different Rays team, but they're 22-18. Bob Melvin's coming out. So Rodriguez gets one of the outs here in the 8th inning, and he did a nice job. So 28 pitches for Fernando Rodriguez, and A's will give the ball to Fernando Abad. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Free Parking Tuesdays driven by Chevrolet are available at most Tuesday home games this season. All fans park for free at these games, and 500 tickets in the Plaza Reserve section are available for each Chevy. Free Parking Tuesday for just $5. Purchase online at athletics.com/Tuesday and use promo code Chevy while supplies last.
So it's 3-2 Astros, one out here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
So when the A's return to the Coliseum a week from tonight, see the Warriors are playing tonight in Oakland. So
Tuesday, Thursday. Game 2 will be Thursday in Oakland.
So when the Warriors play in Houston, they would be here, right?
Yep.
That's right. So
Game 3 Saturday. Game 4 Monday.
Oh, you got it all.
In Houston.
So we miss the Warriors when they come here, and we miss the Warriors when the A's go home. A lot of TVs on in the stadium tonight with basketball on.
Yes, indeed.
Including probably everyone except our monitors in the broadcast area here, the press box, and a lot of interest in what the Houston Rockets are doing. Of course, the same for the Oakland people with the Warriors. Hope they do well.
So Abad facing Colby Rasmus. Rasmus swings and misses. Abad did not pitch in last night's game. Mahika, Scribner, and Clippard did the heavy lifting out of the bullpen last night for the A's. A good fastball there, and it's 0-2.
Talked about the setup by Rasmus. He's got to load up a little quicker. Bob throws hard. Rodriguez throws hard. Sonny Gray throws hard, but still the same setup by this left-handed hitter.
That one is blasted to right field, and that one is gone. An 0-2 pitch, and it's 5-2 Astros.
Wow. That's how you load up and hit a fastball. And you talk about a shock to not get a breaking ball and to throw a fastball. Look where Stephen Vogt set up way outside. And kind of, we've talked about it, how you try to throw a fastball. Altuve had a high fastball, and this time Rasmus was supposed to get the fastball away, and Stephen Vogt did not believe it. He was beside himself. While he wanted the right pitch, didn't get the location that he wanted. And that hurts. That hurts.
So now Carter will hit. So one of the runs charged to Rodriguez. That was the walk to Marisnik. Still only one out.
You almost, with Abad now against the left-hander, have to set about 1.5 feet outside to get him to finish and throw it out there. So he don't take a chance of making a mistake inside part of the plate, which you just did.
Well, and it is hard to figure out because Abad was so good against lefties last year, but it's been a major problem this year. And what really kind of doubles up the problem, Ray, is he's the only left-hander in the bullpen.
That's right. And that's why O'Flaherty, I hope he's getting better with his shoulder issues, because that is another piece in the bullpen that is important. Another lefty, but he's on the disabled list with shoulder problems. Hope he gets better sooner than later.
Change up, floats up there, and Carter fouls it. Angel Castro starts to throw. Yeah, if your only lefty in the bullpen is having trouble getting left-handed hitters out, that's an issue. Fouled straight back. Fastball at 91 miles an hour. A's will have Vogt, Muncy, and Laurie, and hopefully more to hit in the top of the 9th inning.
Well, you go from a closer, possibly coming in, trying to protect a 1-run lead, to now Luke Gregerson can come in trying to protect a 3-run. And that makes a huge difference.
And that one's blasted to center, but playable. Burns gets back. And Burns has it. So 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th, and that'll bring up Jason Castro. Castro, a single, a strikeout, and a ground out so far tonight. Just the way the series is set up after you win last night. Well, this game becomes important because you have your ace pitching. Right. That was Sonny Gray. And tomorrow, the Astros have their ace pitching, Dallas Keuchel, who's been one of the best pitchers in the American League.
Well, a matter of fact, his start in Oakland against the A's, he shut them out for 9 innings with 15 ground ball outs.
Inside to Castro, 2-1. Tonight, Sonny Gray went 5 innings. Fernando Rodriguez went 2 1/3. Slider stays up, but Castro swings through it.
Might wonder why Abad didn't throw a slider to Rasmus. This might be the reason right there. It was a hanger. And if Rasmus could turn on the fastball and hit it the way he did 0-2, you have to wonder what he would have done with a hanging slider. And Abad just, again, when I said foot outside, that's why he has to extend against the lefties. That's the only way. See where Vogt is? That's why you have to move out so he can finish his delivery and his pitch and get the ball outside instead of dragging his arm through and leaving it inside.
Two slider, and that's hit right field, and that's going to leave the yard. And another home run by a lefty. This time it's Castro, and it's 6-2. The Astros lead. There was the slider.
Right down the middle. I mean, really, Stephen Vogt almost, you have to get in the right-handed batter's box. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get him out there. Because he's not finishing. It's almost like he doesn't want to throw it hard. And you leave it. Cano hit the base hit to drive in the time run in Seattle. On a similar slider, this time it leaves the yard.
So this is how the Astros do it. They hit home runs. They've hit 3 tonight, and they lead 6-2. Teachers that make a difference. Visit csncalifornia.com and vote. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. Beautiful night in Houston, but not a beautiful eighth inning for the A's. 2 home runs, a 2-run shot by Rasmus, a solo shot from Castro. So it's Angel Castro who comes in to face VR. VR is a switch hitter. Well, the first pitch is sliced foul down the left field line into the seats. It's all about home runs for the Astros. 3 home runs tonight, 60 now on the year. That's the most in the majors. Dodgers are second. But that's it. It's really simple. They don't hit for a high average. They strike out a lot. They walk a lot, and they hit home runs. And those 3 guys have hit them tonight.
And what is it when they score 4 more runs? They're unbeatable.
Probably.
And, you know, for them, the difference this year has been the bullpen, as we have talked about in this series. They improve the bullpen, so when they get the lead, they don't take a chance of blowing it like they've done in the past.
So 1-2 the count to VR. Bounces one into right field, and that's a base hit.
Gregerson with a 4-run lead.
Yeah. So now it's Thatcher who's up thrown. Well, Gregerson's still out there. So back to the top of the order. There's your note, Ray. 22-0 record when scoring 4 or more runs.
I knew it was pretty ugly from the visiting standpoint. Didn't know it was that way, but that says it all.
Altuve fouls it straight back. So 2 homers, a single, and a walk here in the 8th inning. Castro just trying to get the A's back in the dugout. In the air to center. Burns grabs it, side retired. 2 home runs, accounting for 3 runs for the Astros. So now 6-2 as we go to the 9th.
Home run. He's a Texan, and he's in Houston. and had the Max Muncy signs. And remember Sunday, his first major league home run against Jeff Samardzija. Silent treatment for the boys in the dugout, but this young man can play. As he's hit 2 home runs, one on Sunday, and this is Tuesday in Houston. So he's swinging the bat well. He's seeing a lot of good pitches and taking them like he's been here for 10 years.
So Gregerson does come in. Not a save situation now. He was heated up and ready to go out there, so he will come into pitch. He faces Vogt, Muncy, and Laurie. He's now trailing by 4. A little bit high, 2-0. There's the shift on for Vogt. Stephen tonight, a couple of ground outs and a fly ball to left field. So 3-1. A's need a bunch of base runners.
Well, last time the A's had a closer come in to face them was Fernando Rodney in Oakland on a 4-run game. They scored 4 off Rodney in that game to tie it. Unfortunately, lost it in the extra innings. The former Athletic Luke Gregerson trying to avoid that.
And everybody thought it was a strike except Andy Fletcher. And those 3 folks, and Ray and I up here in the broadcast booth. So it's a leadoff walk for Vogt.
You know, I don't know that I'd ever say this again, but I'd like to see the A's take the field again and have a chance to make another error. It means they have to score 4, exactly, because right now they have a 0 in that column, and that would end a streak that's been very ugly. But the A's need to play the bottom of the 9th or maybe extra innings and have another chance.
You've never wanted an opportunity to make an error so much.
No, that's right. That means
fair.
Come up with 4 and take the chance to go back defensive.
I think it's a strange but realistic
request,
and a good request.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, one part of the game has been solved tonight. Bullpen did a great job last night, and the A's trying to come back again tonight, and that's why what Rasmus did and what Castro did makes this a game that 1 run. It's such a big difference, and that the insurance runs. I always say and continue to say forever, just keep it at 1 because closers do not like it. So they don't like 4-run leads either, because that's not a safe situation.
Left field hit pretty well. Rasmus going back, and he's going to play it off the wall. Bounces back toward the infield. Vogt's going to hustle to third, and he'll make it there. And Muncy with an opposite field double. And the A's got something going here in the 9th.
Well, that's a short wall. Crawford boxes in left field, and while it wasn't a home run, Rasmus thought he had a chance. Muncy showing his ability to stay back and wait and go opposite field. Pull the ball down the right field line for a home run, and this one almost up into the boxes, but keeps the inning going off the out-of-town scoreboard. And there's Marisnick backing up.
Smart play by Marisnick.
That's right.
So here's Laurie. He's trying to make some noise. Slider in there for a strike. Laurie a double, a single, and a ground out.
Well, Luke Gregerson, we know, will throw a lot of sliders to right-handers. He's got the 2-seam fastball, he'll throw to lefties, and the 4-seam fastball.
And now he's ahead in the count, 0-2 to Laurie. Canna is the on-deck hitter. To pitch. Foul back. One of those sliders that stayed up. What do we always say, Ray? Those relievers who throw lots and lots of sliders, they'll throw a lot of good ones. But they will always at some point hang it.
And here's a hanger. Just got away with it. And sometimes you hope as a pitcher, if you do hang one, you get to hang with them. And it's one that fouled back instead of driven hard someplace.
Nice block by Castro.
Well, a base hit here. That means the tying run comes to the plate. And first 2 runners getting on base. You see how Gregerson wrapped that slider. And Castro showing his ability to block balls in the dirt.
So Laurie steps out, steps back in. He's ready. Liner to left, and that's a base hit.
There's your hanger, Cat.
That was a hanger. And
what you talk about.
Now the A's will get the tying run to the plate. And Laurie gets the RBI single. Vogt comes in to score. So 6-3.
And there's the hanger, and Brett Laurie. I mean, really, Luke Gregerson's lucky this didn't leave the yard, because it was enough of a hanger, and fortunately over the head of the yard shortstop. And that's why Muncy had to go back to second to make sure he was not doubled off. But he was able to get to third.
But I think it's very difficult to throw a good slider in the right spot time after time after time.
And if you think about it, with Abad giving up the home run to Rasmus, that would have been the logical pitch if he had confidence to throw it off the plate.
Yeah.
And maybe bounce it, get him swinging a bad pitch. Now Fegley hustling out to the bullpen so he could add to another pitcher to warm up just in case. But you know, the one thing, again, David Ortiz talked about Fernando Abad when he faced him whenever the Red Sox were in Oakland. He said, how does this guy have a 6 ERA? But he was throwing sliders hard to David Ortiz, and he was swinging and missing. And that's what Fernando Abad needs to get back to doing that.
So here's Canna. A walk, a double, and a single so far here in the 9th inning, and it's 6-3. Canna, this is his second at bat. He struck out in the 7th. First pitch, slider low. Coco Crisp left the game with some neck stiffness. Neshek now throwing.
Remember, it was Gregerson who blew the save when Reddick hit the 2-run pinch hit double in that Friday night at the Coliseum. And Neshek came in.
He wasn't sharp either.
He gave up a 2-run home run to Simeon. It's actually a game of Qualls got a 1-out save in the game. But the A's made it a 1-run game. That was the Keuchel Kazmir start on the Friday night.
So 1-1 to Canna. Sogard will be next. Inside.
Well, this is the opposite field double off Luke Gregerson. That would tie it, and he almost scored on a throw that was an errant throw and got by, and the backup, and Reddick trying to tiptoe around. You know, I talked to Reddick the next day. I said, why didn't you run him over? He said, I didn't know I could. I said, yes, you can. If he's got the ball, he's open target. But that was a play. If they were going to do it, that was the time to do it. Try to run him over, and maybe the A's could have won the game. I don't want to see catchers hurt. But, you know, got the ball. It's a good sinker this time. And Canna, who is very capable of making it a tie game with one swing of the bat, Crawford boxes, tried to do it.
Muncy at third, Laurie at first.
Here we go.
2-2 pitch. Top foul. So Canna hanging in there.
He's getting some pretty good pitches to hit.
Long look by Gregerson. On the ground is short. Out at second, Altuve on the turn, and they got the double play. The run comes in to score to make it 6-4. But what it does is it eliminates the tying run coming to the plate, and that's the part that hurts. So 6-4-3 on the double play with the run coming in.
Now they just tried to pull the outside, kind of a half swing, but could not find the hole, and they were able to turn the double play. And that did hurt. You know, if you think about the flu that's going around the clubhouse, and for Mark Canha to see him on the bench prior to the game during batting practice at the hotel last night, was sent back to the hotel. So give him credit for at least getting into this game and give it a couple of bats.
First pitch to Sogard. Sinker on the outside corner for a strike. Sogard is 0 for 3. One and one the count. Sogard, a fly ball to center, a fly ball to left, and a fly ball to right. There's a sinker again. This one's low. It's been Hernandez, Sipp, Qualls, and Gregerson. Missed again. 2-1. So 2-1. Stand corrected 3-1. Burns hoping to get a chance to hit. And it drops low, and it's a walk.
That's a pretty patient at bat by Eric Sogard.
So that'll bring up Burns. Jay Hinch comes out, and he's going to make a change.
I was going to say, Burns Strom has already been out.
So 24 pitches for Gregerson. He gives up 2 runs. And he could not close out the game. So the A's still alive here, trailing 6-4. So Neshek coming in to face Burns. Log on to CSNCalifornia.com as our A's insider Joe Stiglitz provides wire-to-wire reporting of the A's 2015 season. He's got breaking news, video, special features, and much, much more. It's only on CSNCalifornia.com. So the A's just will not go quietly.
No.
They get the tying run to the plate again. It's Burns. Luke Gregerson. Watch out. Watch the paper cups. We cleared that out. So he got 2 outs, both on the double play. Here's Burns to face Pat Neshek. 3-0, 2.93 ERA, and it's a save situation for Neshek, and he does not have a save this year. First pitch, a strike to Burns. Burns has singled twice in this game, and he did not start the game. He came in the 5th. That's when Coco left with the neck issue, and there's that. It's like a butterfly ball, doesn't it?
Yeah, the old Frisbee changeup. I'd almost like to see Burns get on because Simeon took him deep in Oakland. 2-run shot, made it a 1-1 game. That was against Neshek. Remarkable comeback for Pat Neshek, considering he was out of baseball, and you know what happened last spring and last year and now this year.
And a fastball and a swing and a miss. So on 3 pitches, Burns strikes. So the A's make it interesting in the 9th. They score a couple times on a couple of runs. They walk a couple times, but when it's all said and done, it's the Astros that win it tonight to even up this series at a game apiece. Rubber game tomorrow afternoon. 17,575 saw it. It took 3 hours and 21 minutes. Final score tonight, the Astros 6 and the Athletics 4. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. A's postgame live with Brody and Bipp is set to start right now.